Hey everybody, it's Neil from 2AF.com. Today we're going to be talking about slings. Slings are a crucial part of any AR that you have that is more than just something for the range. So, you got a car gun, house gun, closet gun, anything like that. Really, this is true for any long gun. Really got to have a sling on there. Without it, you're really, walk around your house with just your gun in your hand without a sling, and notice how many times you'll wish you had a sling, whether you're opening doors or going on the phone or whatever. Point is, you really should have a sling on any gun that's something other than just for the range. Today we're going to be talking about Blue Force Gear slings, and they have a lot of slings, but probably I'm just going to kind of narrow it down to these two most popular ones. This is their newer GMT sling. This was new from them right about a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And then this is the Vickers model, which has been out for years and years and years. Now, there are many different versions of that Vickers sling. This is the standard one. And also, I usually suggest getting them without hardware sewn in. And really the biggest reason to get them without hardware sewn in is because, one, this hardware, and it doesn't matter whose you get. If you get the ones from Blue Force Gear, which is what you see here, or other manufacturers, any of this metal hardware, it'll rust. And if you have your slings where the QDs are sewn in, it is not easy to change them. If you just get the ones without any QDs in them and you loop them together like we've done here, it's easy to change them. Now, the GMT sling is available in 1 inch or 1 1/4. Really, I think for the GMT sling, I think the 1 inch one is really the way to go. It's small, it's light, it's slick, it's a little bit more so than the Vickers sling. Now, if you don't like these smaller slimmer slings like this with this 1 inch webbing, they do make this in 1 1/4, which is the same size as the Vickers slings. This is all 1 1/4. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but these swivels are also different sizes. We carry them both. This is the 1 inch, this is the 1 1/4. The truth is you can use either on either one, but I do think the 1 inch ones fit better on the 1 inch slings. If you get the 1 1/4, it kind of just slides around left to right. And same thing, you can actually use the 1 inch slings on these, or the 1 inch swivels on the 1 1/4 inch slings. And what they do is they just kind of, well, let's say they fold the sling like that, and then they loop it through the 1 inch. And that kind of keeps, that's a surefire way to keep the sling swivel from sliding left to right. I've seen several people do that. It seems like it works fine. I do tend to kind of prefer the 1 1/4 inch swivel on the 1 1/4 inch sling. So, available in 4 or 5 different colors. This is available in a bunch of different colors and camo patterns. This is their standard tan. And this is their woodland camo version of this. But like I said, tons of different options available. Now, the big difference between these two slings is what's commonly known as open-end or closed-end sling. Now, the GMT sling is known as an open-end. So it has 2 different levers, right? This is your one pull tab here. This is your second pull tab here. So if you'll pull this, the sling will get longer. If you want to make it shorter, you go to this other pull tab and pull it shorter. Now, you can see now, like if this is at the end of the gun, we've got this pretty long tail that's sticking out here. That's the open-ended sling. It will have a longer tail, or it will have a tail in general, whereas the closed-end sling does not have a tail like that. The advantage to this one is it has more room to adjust. You can make this wider and cinch it up tighter than you can a closed-end sling. The disadvantage to this is you've just got this big tail sticking out. The tighter that you make it, you can cinch this really right up to be where there's no room in it and it's right against your body. And I'll show you that in a little bit. But as you do that, you have this long tail sticking out. If you don't like the longer tail, if you don't like a tail that's sticking out, the closed-in sling is probably a better option for you. The closed-in sling has one tab to make it tighter or looser, right? So bring it back, and that makes the sling looser. Bring it forward, and the sling will get tighter. And that's the big difference between the closed end and the open end sling. Open end has a tail with two different adjustment points, one to make it looser, one to make it tighter. The closed end sling has no tail and one adjustment point to make it looser or tighter. There are lots of different ways to set the sling up on your gun. All right, so probably the most common way that we see is whatever sling you pick, the adjustment point, that's the front of the sling. So it's going to go towards the front. And the other end is on the back. So the most common way we see it is you'll put it somewhere on the stock and then somewhere up front on the gun, right? So as wide as you can get it. And that's probably the most common way that you'll see this. A lot of people use it that way. There's really nothing wrong with either way, but any way that you do it will have some ups and downs, right? So probably the next most common way is on a end plate that's here and closer, that's here. Close to your receiver, like right here. So that's probably the next most common way. And then of course you can also do combinations of that. Some people will put it on the stock and close. Some people will put it on the end plate and out far. But really the two most common ways is end to end, which is probably the most common, and then castle nut to mid mount, which is close to the receiver here. Really, I'm not going to get into the ups and downs of doing that. Some people get really wound up about how your sling is set up and which one of those you should do and which one of those you shouldn't. Man, I've been on the range a bunch, and that's really all I can claim. But I've taken classes from people who have pretty strong opinions on how to do it. Try it a bunch of different ways. Go to the different instructors, who have strong opinions about it. And during the course of their class, you'll probably see why one says one way and why one says the other. And you'll probably wind up finding a way that suits your shooting needs best. So I've got the gun set up with, right now, the Vickers version, or the closed-end sling. Right now, mine is set up at castle nut and mid-mount, so the closer setup of the two. And we'll show you how these kind of go. If you are right-handed, typically the way that you'll set up this sling is drape it over your head. And then if you're right-handed, left arm is going to go through here. All right. So once you've got this slung through here, right now I've got this sling cinched up so where it's pretty tight. I can still kind of shoulder it here, but it's pretty tight. So normally what you'll do, again, this is the Vickers, the closed-end sling. The one pull tab here, you'll pull it towards your armpit, and it's going to open up. And now you've got a lot of space. You've got a lot of space to shoulder the gun. You've got a lot of space for low ready, high ready, etc. Different types of ready stances. Once you do that, the tab is usually pretty far back here. So you got to reach pretty far back. And then again, you can cinch it up. And this is mostly just for when you're not shooting, walking around left and right, up and down the range or whatever it is. You've got the gun up here high. It's not dangling down, swinging all over the place. You keep it pretty close when it's cinched up to your body like this. All right, now we've got the GMT sling set up the same way. Castle nut mid-mount. This is the 1-inch slimmer sling, open-ended sling. So we've got the tail here, and we've got the two different adjustment points up front and the ball that's back here. So again, right-handers, and again, there's other ways to do this. This is just probably the main way you'll see it. Right-handers over the head, left hand through the sling. And so now we've got two different adjustment points, right? This is the tail that I'm talking about. You can tighten this way up. Now this is right up against your body, but you've got the longer tail that's sitting here. And then to loosen it, it's the ball here. Bring this towards your armpit. And again, the sling is loose and you've got a lot of room to work with. Lots of room for shoulder in the rifle, low ready, high ready, and set up like this anyway if you wanted to, even to switch shoulders. So lots of room on this sling. You get more adjustment. You can open it up wider. You can adjust it in tighter, but you've got the tail to contend with here. So again, this is the Blue Force Gear GMT sling. This is available in 1 or 1 1/4. This is the 1-inch version in several different colors and I think multicam. And then the Vickers sling. These are all 1 1/4. You can get it, this is non-padded, or you can get it padded. Really, I only prefer the padded sling on kind of heavier guns, like maybe 308s or something like that. Otherwise, I prefer the unpadded one. It just moves around a little better for you, and you actually have more room for adjustment. On the padded sling, the padded area would be here, and you cannot adjust, there's no adjustment in there. So without that padded area, you can adjust it tighter or looser as needed when you have the unpadded sling. The padded sling does help, I think, for heavier guns to carry the load a little more evenly. And again, these Vickers slings are available in a ton of different colors and camo patterns. Blue Force Gear even has like a custom sling maker on their website. You can order any color combination you want, at least of the many different choices they have available. So again, that's it. It's Neil from 2AF. Talking about slings for your rifle, crucial part of any gun that is not a just kind of range gun. We talked primarily about the Blue Force Gear slings, although examples of these exist in other brands as well. We talked about hardware. Keep in mind the QDs that I showed are only one form of hardware. There are several others. Blue Force Gear probably offers the widest variety of hardware that I can think of. They have the QD swivels like we've shown. They have the HK style snap hooks. They have U-loops. They have traditional sling mounts like the Uncle Mike style sling mounts. They just Blue Force Gear offers them in like a heavy duty version. So tons of different sling options. Again, I usually like to get them without the hardware built in, so you can change the hardware, say if you change your mind, or like I said, the hardware should become rusted or damaged with these metal hardware. I mean, it's not an uncommon thing. Like I said, if it's not just a range gun, that probably means you're out taking classes, going to matches. The weather's not always great, and that is a wear point. So I like to be able to change them if needed. That's it. That's all I got for you today. Again, it's Neil from 2AF. Don't forget to get on the website and sign up for email notifications. Also, if you are on the Instagram, 2AF_com, be sure to follow the backup page, just 2AFCOM. Man, Instagram's been kind of crazy lately. I know one of our friends just lost their page. Everybody's getting warnings. It's pretty bad. So the backup page is a good thing to follow if anything should happen. Same thing, YouTube is the same page, 2AF_com. If you're following us there, go to Instagram if you're not. If you're on Instagram, go to YouTube if you're not. All right, man, that's all I got from you. Be safe.